Good evening, everyone. System Chalk here for the 49th episode of Book of Hours, our first YouTube run through the game. And this is one of the first times I actually quickly checked a video before I went to record this, and it occurred to me that I did a 50-minute video last week. I am so sorry about that. I should probably do the stats to see whether or not people watch the longer ones more than the shorter ones, but either way, I do try to keep a consistent runtime to basically let people kind of meet their meet people's expectations and just be able to how do I put this? I'm trying to do it to make sure that people have something that they can enjoy if they don't want to watch my super long videos. But with that in mind, I did run into, it occurred to me that I actually have a small dilemma as far as these episodes go. And it has to do with the consider verb. So I've got my YouTube run going, I've got this YouTube run going, but I've also got my Twitch run. And the real drawback here is that in the Twitch run, I have a pretty good memory for it. So I believe we just finished this room in terms of investigating the different items in the house. But of course, I'm going to have to do that in parallel with this session. And I have a feeling that I'm probably going to forget where I am between sessions here. Now, I'm a bit lucky in the sense that this time around we had the lingering repose, so I'm going to be able to remember where we were with that. But that's going to be one drawback, and I apologize in advance if I wind up all over the map in terms of just in terms of trying to place my catalog and otherwise read the text for these things. But let's get on with the day's work. So first of all, it does seem like I sort of idiot-proofed myself for today. So I am interested in the fact that I decided to draw up some water when I have some here already. And I did seem to pour a glass to prepare the restoration of an element of the soul, but I'm not 100% sure which one I was doing that for. I believe, I'm unlikely to garner much from a hive at this time of year, so I think I did this mostly to see what comes up. Now, the biggest thing I'm interested in, we've got the rights of the roots kicking around here, so I need 4 memories for that. Did we try and take a memory through sleep? If we did, we've already got it. Probably the name day riddle. And I guess the easiest thing for me to do would just get an impulse, so I wonder if that's what I'm reading here. Traveling at Night Volume 1 sure sounds like an impulse book. So I'm good there. And then I seem to be reading another book, which is The 6 Letters on Necessity. Now, why am I doing that? Well, I'm doing that probably because I didn't know that I would have... probably because I didn't think that I would have the rain today. But what did I think that was going to get me? Because moth and nectar don't give me a whole lot. Well, I guess we'll find out in a minute, won't we? We also have the affair of the particular mystique. So Wakefield has been satisfied. We don't know who's coming yet. What's happening in the world beyond Brandkrug? What visitors will this season bring? I've been okay not satisfying all of the requests in order to get languages. So I will probably follow along the same lines as the playthrough goes through. But again, we'll see. We'll see where everything goes. And we've got assistance from Mr. Kill. Okay, Mr. Kill can always spare a few hours to help a friend. So I'm wondering, in this case, did I bring him in to try and get him to open up more parts of the house? The veiled chamber, the stopped clock. Yeah, I almost certainly did it for that. Or the shrouded space. And I think I said I was going to do the veiled chamber. I may I may change my mind on that. I believe there is actually a book. No, hang on. I think the books were in here. Mind you, there's still a benefit to opening things up. All right, so let's think about what we're doing with Mr. Kill. So we've got Solomon's Preparation, which will bring him up to a 6. Okay, that explains it. So probably 6 letters of necessity are so that I can get the extra winter for him. So that's so we get him up to 6 with Solomon's Preparation. We get so he's at 2 now, 4 with the Whist. Well, let's say without the let's not worry about the Whist right now. Let's actually just go for what I have. What I presently have. So 2 from a memory, which brings him up to 4. Then we give him Solomon's Preparation, which will bring him up to 8, at which point I can decide to give him food, memory, or one of the bits of wood, which actually makes me think that maybe some trips to the moor might be in order. Okay. So that's given me a little bit of a game plan in terms of what to do with Mr. Kill. Now, I do have a bunch of other elements of the soul, so that would be a time for me to maybe be considering a few items inside of the house, or alternatively, I might want to think about what books I can be reading. So I think we'd said that Etery After should be something that I could... I remember I ordered all this stuff before, but... I'm trying to recall... okay, so Inks of Containment. So we get the 3 from Inks of Containment, then 5 from the Whist, 7 from the... from a memory, and then we don't have a winter tool. Okay, so I'm getting a pretty clear picture in terms of what's going on here. So if we were to do Glimmerings, I think it would be 2 with the metal, so 6 with transformations and liberations, 8 once we add a memory, and 9 once we add a tool, but we would still need we would still need something extra. Still, I think it's probably worth it in this case, just because I don't really have that much else to work with. All right, I'm getting a clearer idea about how the day is going to be spent. So let's say I'm going to reserve the... So for the moor, it's heart or scale. So with that in mind, we would use the... Okay, and then this would be heart, moon, or rose. So the moon will be... this will be occupied by upgrading rights of the roots. So it's really the Arab and the metal that are free for me. And the good news is, if it comes down to trying to get some memories for the purposes of boosting Glimmerings, I actually have something to work in my favor there as well. So I'm feeling reasonably good about our chances here. One last thing I would want to do is open up the Contraband Flotsam, but let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. So I have a rough idea about how I want the day to go. The last thing that I'd like to do is figure out I think I would like a Foresight. So the tricky part here is whether we wait for Mr. Kill to help with the Foresight or not. And I'm actually thinking in this case it might make sense for me to just read the text. Okay, so I use the Arab to read the text. I use metal to read Glimmerings. Fair enough. Trist would upgrade Rights the Roots. That would occupy all of my elements of the soul unless I wanted to use the core or the fet. Am I okay with that? I think I am. And then if I really need it, I suppose I can spend the 3 pence. Actually, I can spend the 3 pence to restore the Whist. I'm going to have to restore the Whist anyway. But we might as well make a little bit of money while we do that anyway. Ah! I forgot. All right, it is autumn, and when the leaves rustle, the silent landlady has served me apple pie with steamed cream in the window nook. All right. Yes, so I have a pretty clear idea about how I'm going to spend the day. And in this case, as nice as it would be to talk with Mr. Kill... Oops. In this case, I think probably just reading the Bancroft Diaries again will will give me what I need. So I've already mastered this, but I could reread it and perhaps recall a memory. And you know what? I think I'm going to go for the walk on the moor. So let's throw anything with rows that's not going to... I feel like Pearl and Tide should be used on the beach. There we go. Path and Pilgrim. The last leaves toss and scutter. And then we can do some beachcombing using my Tryst. And Pearl and Tide. What is the sea seeded today? So why did they keep the core available? Right, I kept the core available because it was one or the other. Oh, sorry. No, it was supposed to be the core that I did the Crowcross Sands with. Well, that's fine. We'll just pay to restore the Tryst as well. All right, the Lingering Repose, upholstered in a velvet of peculiar richness that invites the hand. So the thing that's nice about this is if I need a memory for leveling up Glimmerings, this is how I get it, through memory touch. So I'll just hang on to that. So upholstered in a particular upholstered in a velvet of peculiar richness that invites the hand. Carved on the back by the maker, be with me a little while. Hearts and flowers have also been carved by an unauthorized but skillful hand. Now, I did learn a little something when I was doing the other run. Now, normally I don't like the knowledge from other playthroughs to sort of creep into this one. So for instance, I know that there are some secrets of the house, and I think I have some fairly good ideas about most of them. But what I would like to do is I would like to unlock the secrets of the house as I get indicators as to what those secrets might be. But with that in mind, I'm not going to completely cut myself off from help. So, as it happens, if we consider the Watchful Potted Plant, I actually got a confirmation to something that I wanted to check out in the previous YouTube videos. So investigate this object. I feel a little silly about the Tryst, but we're not that far behind on the day's tasks. Mr. Kill, Ryan Spry, doesn't mind stopping for a gossip, add something to enhance Mr. Kill's effectiveness for the day, or just talk. Unlike some assistants, Mr. Kill can make use of wood. So I don't want to spend too much time talking with him, but in this case, there's a couple things that I can do to help myself out. Watchful Potted Plant, not everything needs eyes. The sense of awareness persists, but the plant remains immobile, unsettling but harmless. It doesn't even have thorns. So, green scents recall rain. So it does turn out that scent is in fact nectar. And in this case here, unexpectedly, we can get the scent from the Watchful Potted Plant. And there are a few other items which you wouldn't think provide scent, but their descriptions actually make that make sense. So something for me to keep an eye on in the future, but it's definitely not a showstopper at this point. Okay, so I have a few decisions to make in terms of how I would like to spend the day, but I think at this point, let's keep considering items in the house, and at this point we will look at the Yethhounds, or rather the horns. Investigate the object. And then in a few seconds we should have an idea about all the different memories we have to work with. What do we have here? D.I. Douglas Moore. Some of you who've played Cultist Simulator may be familiar with this gentleman. D.I. Douglas Moore, Detective Illuminate of the Suppression Bureau, a stoic but weary fellow. His dearest wish is to move to Chingford and grow roses, but the buggers won't let him retire. So this is the affair of the particular mystique. The Suppression Bureau has a growing interest in the recent fad for unconventional, often prophetic, religious movements. No laws have been broken. Nothing sinister has come to light. All those movements are comfortingly stellar in nature, but there does seem to be something going on. Now, Mr. Moore does not, or D.I. Moore, does not have a language that we need. In fact, he understands Greek and that's about it. Well, and, English. But in this case here, he'll almost certainly want the lantern. We should be able to satisfy that request. Of course I got Foresight. Dead men don't tell no bloody tales? Well, you'd listen. All right. Well, the reason why I wanted to get the Foresight from the Bancroft Diaries was so that I could read Glimmerings. Now, unfortunately, I don't believe Nona's Desk gives me the opportunity to read Forge. I think the only Forge desk I have right now is Ambrose's desk. Mind you, I guess I won't be finishing the Bancroft Diaries until after I get Ambrose's desk. So we still have a little time. Okay. And what do we have here? Okay, Traveling at Night, Volume 1. The Annotated Dream Journals of Christopher Alopoli, sometimes called the only readable occultist. Literate, entertaining, bewildering. The wood lies outside the walls of the Mansis. As any student of the histories knows, the Mansis has no walls. Alopoli describes how he came to make repeated visits to a dream wood via what he called silver dreams. Trying to think your way to the wood, he explains, is like thinking your way to being in love, but I did find a secret that helped. So there's the impulse we were looking for. Next up, we have got the 6 letters on necessity. Warnings and confessions about the cost of the secret arts addressed to a student in 17th century magus and reputed immortal. To a student by the 17th century magus and reputed immortal Julian Cosley. Cosley's tone is urgent, as if he suspects he may have little time left. Even the sun can be divided, though it required the forge of days for its division. Oh, that also gave me the Foresight. Okay, so clearly I've blown it for today. That's quite a bit of waste. All right. Yeah, so that's quite a bit of waste in terms of the elements of the soul. But we'll do our best with what we've been given. So at Ambrose's desk, we will still make an attempt on Glimmerings. Now I am going to need to be careful because I have a tendency to get distracted and not answer the challenges when they come up, but that should be my best transformations and liberations. We will add the Foresight, and then we'll bring, as nice as the spanners are, I think we will bring the square, and it just feels a little more appropriate to have on the desk. So Forge the Wavering Spark. Perhaps you provided Forge, but not enough to match Mystery Forge. If you're lucky, you might still succeed. Now, one of the ways we could improve our chances for these challenges is to actually get an extra forge and such, but an extra metal and such. I may consider that at some point, but right now I'm content with working with the kind of the basics I have right now. If it asks us for a memory, we're good. If it asks us for painting, we're good. If it asks us for comfort, we're probably good. The only thing really is weather and elements of the soul that would give us some trouble. Okay, moving on. If I had my tryst, I would be able to level up the rights of the roots, but I don't, so I can't. I would be interested to know, though, if there was a Nectar or Grail text that... I should have checked this before, but if there was a Nectar or a Grail text. Kukurbit Prisoner Records. So if I got that up to 6... Okay, so if this is 6, the Rain would make it 8, the Health would make it 9. Huh. We actually have a real shot of getting this. I'm gonna need to put a lot into it, and I'll probably there's gonna be some costs, but I'm gonna make an effort. And let's get started on a few things here. So we'll definitely give him the nice drop. I can offer my assistant something. Actually, you know what? Before we do that, let's see if we can get a memory out of him. Leaving a little bit too much for the end of the day, but okay, I'm gonna leave that whist aside. Got 34 seconds. I'm actually gonna leave the Sweet Bones open. If I'm down money, that's fine. Bancroft Diaries. Lord Franklin Bancroft was initiated into the arts of the flower maker by the Rose Witch Fiona Ayrshire. He rose to become a society provider of occult services and secret pleasures before his abrupt disappearance in 1790. Bancroft seems to have been a talented adept, but devoted his energies to frustratingly whimsical projects, arranging grape-fetching races between Mansa spirits, teaching percussagans to juggle, and conjuring storms of imaginary blossoms for the Rose Witch Ayrshire, who resolutely refused ever to couple with him. Bancroft spends 20 pages bemoaning this last. The mantra here recorded is a high and exacting magic, which can be used to pledge one's spirit to the watchman, beginning an ascent to the house. Bancroft boasts of his ability to recite it when in his cups. He also had it set to music for a performance with fireworks at Vauxhall Gardens. So, there's the Foresight. Second time it wound up redundant, but that's life. Sorry, taking a minute here to think. So I will send Whist straight to Mr. Kill. I'm getting my Tryst back at the Sweet Bones, then we'll do that. I'll actually use the water for the health. Okay, I'm okay with how things are going. Just because I've added more things that I want to do throughout the day, it's gotten a little more sensitive in terms of making this all work. So, the red deer antlers, not quite hair, not quite teeth, but proof that someone has killed something. BD is scratched on one antler. Brian DeWolf was a prolific and successful hunter in his time. Alright, Yeth hounds. In times past, the Yeth pursued the impious and impure across the moors of the country. Hendrik de Wolf never liked them. A little water splashes on the stones of the well to nourish the mosses here. Oh, I think I remember why I brought up that pitcher, is to have a replacement in the kitchen. Alright, and we got sound for our trouble. So this time we're going to go to the motley bed and we will restore it with water. A quick nap in a warm bed with something comforting to drink while the winds chase the clouds and the clouds chase the sun. I would have liked to open the contraband flotsam at some point, and I won't rule that out as a possibility, but I do have a few other priorities right now, so I'll try and pick my battles here. He really loves the Foresight. So I could talk with him about Whist, and I probably should do that reasonably soon. Alright. Sea-strewn, salt-snared stuff. We've got a driftwood fragment, so that's not going to help us in terms of opening up a room. And here... Oh, but this will. So we've got the yew blank. Wood sacred to the malachite, who is also called the ring yew, but also the tree that the dead must pass in the dark. Unexpected finds in the folds of earth and sky. Now, I may want to reconsider what we're doing with Mr. Kill here. So again, he's got his 2, so if I give him the Whist, that brings it up to 4. If I give him Solomon's Preparation, that brings him up to 10. Okay, so what am I thinking of here? Let me just take a second. So Solomon's Preparation will bring him up to 6, Whist will bring him up to 8, and then the yew blank will bring him up to 9. That way I don't need to worry about the memory, and that kind of saves me some trouble. Okay, I think I will do that just because I messed up a little bit in terms of my elements of the soul. So I was originally thinking maybe I should go for the stop clock, but in this case, the Veiled Chamber kind of makes sense given that I've got the yew blank to help me out here. Oh, and I should be getting that Tryst back. Yethhound horns. Someone has scratched derisively on one whore. Pray thou upon this. And here we go. Rest and refreshment. Tuppence will buy me a hearty meal and a quiet place where I can rest and gather my thoughts. So let's add the shilling here. It is autumn when the leaves rustle. The silent landlady has served me apple pie with steamed cream in the window nook. Okay, I know I'm running out of time. Let's move on to check out the Tattered Outlaw. Investigate the object, and how is our reading of Glimmering going? Or Glimmerings, rather. So I think at my health I'm going to have to wind up sacrificing overnight in order to read the relevant book, but I'm okay with that. Looks like we're good. So art, it's educational. We'll solve that. Soul won't, and stuff also things. So we will definitely have finished Glimmerings today. So we're actually going to be up 2 books, which will probably cause me all sorts of trouble later on. But you know what? That's life. Dead men don't tell no bloody tales. Well, who'd listen? All right. So we are going to still want to talk with Douglas about his inquiries, but let's actually get let's get Mr. Kill set up for an investigation. We'll watch for what lies ahead. Loose Winter and Lantern. I should decide what I want to do with the core, and in fact, in this case, it would be kind of tempting to maybe read some of the items in the house that can't be can't be used with the afflicted element of the soul. But what I think I will do. Well, that or, maybe try and earn some money in the Sweet Bones. But I think one of the things I'm going to do here is I'm going to wait to see the results of the different books. Because like I said, I think we're going to wind up with a whole bunch of memories, which won't be hard to navigate, but I do want to make sure I'm a little sharper on how I've been spending my time. Okay, so we'll skip the element of the soul. That's 10 seconds down the drain. The Tattered Outlaw. Thyrza Blake, 7th librarian of Hush House, liked painting donkeys. No one else liked her donkey paintings, but Thyrza never much cared for what other people liked. For some reason, this donkey has human eyes. There is also a cigarette holder, with no cigarette, sticking coyly out of the corner of its mouth. I think it's not that long. We can read the other painting, Raveline Summer. I was wondering if I might want to hold off so that I can level up Rights the Roots, but we've got about 30 seconds left in the Sweet Bones, so I don't think it's not going to be a huge hardship. Okay, there's still a chance. There's still a chance. Fiddle with something here. Increase relevant aspects by using a thing. So let's find something with Forge. Well, Raveline Summer was something with Forge, but let's use... Oh, that's not a thing. That's a painting. Right. I keep forgetting about that one. Spanners. When you need them, you need them. Just tighten a bolt on the book and you can usually figure it out. My assistant and I will be prudent. All right, so let's give him a drink and then some wood to work with, and we should be good. My next priority would be to make another Solomon's preparation, but we'll take that one at a time. I can offer my assistant something to drink. Okay. The Raveline Summer, a dry spell in a still place. This is signed Brulot, but dated 1902, long after the librarian of that name left Hush House. She did come from a family of painters. Okay. Better now. So I'm going to have to make some decisions about the Sweet Bones in a little bit, but let's get Rights the Roots taken care of. So, Rights of the Roots. I may want to be a bit selective in terms of what I give up. So the Earth sign would be helpful to hang on to. Memory, name, day, riddle, scent. Well, I'm going to have to give up one. I can always get an Earth sign back from a book, so we'll add that one. Then we add the Tryst. I'll maybe just double check here. Yeah, those are my only options. So satisfying to have come so far. Improve this skill to level 5. And then... Okay, so... Can try and make some money with the core and the sweet bones. That doesn't seem like the most exciting choice for me to make. I should be getting my health back in a little bit, which will tell me whether or not I can read... read the Kukurbit prisoner records. So that would take 30 seconds. Well, I'll learn a little bit about the Kindle Flame. Honestly, I'm probably just going to use my core to get... You know what, yeah, let's... I don't even need to think about this, really. I'm going to use my core to read Wrapped in the King again. It just seems to make a lot more sense than... Well, Wrapped in the King or Dureshi Quirkum, but let's do Wrapped in the King this time. That's something that's just nice to have no matter what. Okay. Glimmerings. An anonymous prison diary written by a dreamer convicted of oniric irresponsibility and confined to the Kukurbit. The prisoner is plainly terrified and bewildered by their situation and has been unable to wrangle a coherent explanation out of anyone, but the dreams keep coming, and they keep writing them down. Snow, broken mirrors, half-heard sky music, flowers of white, red, and black, a blood-streaked winter dawn. The most notorious signifiers of oniric risk, fantastically vivid and detailed. No wonder they were locked up. Their final recorded dream is of a worm jewel beneath Brankrug Isle, which they open with a key carved from their finger bone. So, we've got Sights and Sensations. That's going to take a little bit of work, I think. And a Bittersweet Certainty. That's a new one for us, I believe. So, let's put that on... This is a little hard, actually, because Kioned Abydos is... Kioned Abydos is the regret one, which would be the natural association with winter. Well, actually, with the satisfaction here, maybe I can make a satisfaction shelf. And then we say forge winter. Yeah, actually, I think I'm going to do that. So we'll move the satisfaction shelf into the reading room. And then I'll move the Foresight shelf up here. Oh, that's funny. Didn't quite intend to put that in the... among the Tantras. I can already see the problem here, but okay, this is the hindsight shelf. And then the hope here is that I'm going to remember that it gives me a bittersweet certainty because I've put it on the shelf next to that. It may not, but it's the best shot I've got, to be honest. So now, first question, do I have Sights and Sensations? I do. Now, the other bit of good news here, so this requires winter or sky, so that would, Fost or Whist would handle that. Let's bring in the Whist. The Arab is just nectar. Oh, you know what's funny? I didn't need my Trist for that. I could have used the Arab, now that I think of it. Anyways, neither here nor there, so we're definitely going to be able to level up Sights and Sensations at least once. And I will go a little bit later today just so that I can wrap up the day's work. It's not even so much for memory, but I'd just like to have a bit more done with the day. Okay, so why did I bring health back again? Right, because I wanted to see if I could read the Kukurbit prisoner records. Now, I'm sure I could figure this out in my head, but let's give this an attempt, and if I can't do it with the rain on its own, then I'll wait for the earth sign. So add the cake bowls. Would help if I had my rights to the roots back, huh? Down to the Greshens. This has boosted their aspects appropriately. Alright, so at this point we will give Mr. Kill the U-block. I can offer my assistant any suitable timber I have lying around. This will increase their aspects. They will keep any of the wood that's left over. So that frees him up to open up the Veiled Chamber. Should probably find a place to keep the driftwood, but it's not so clear where there's room. I don't think I can put it on the... Yeah, I can put it in the bench, but I can't put it on the bench. We'll find space eventually. Okay, this skill is now level 5. Its power aspects have also increased. So let's go to Nona's desk. Abbess Nona, Apothecary, Scholar, Dancer. So we take Rites of the Roots, Health, the cake bowls, or kitchen bowls, cake time. We will add the memory just for the sake of the memory. Yes, okay, we do want the rain on the chat. Ooh, that's going to get interesting, actually. It's definitely worth the shot, but I'm definitely setting myself up for potential tragedy if I don't get the test in time. Okay, let's, we've finished this room, so let's move up to, well, first of all, we'll read the description again. The Watchman's Tower, the gatehouse. Back in the 11th century, Brian of Brittany built the tower and its gates to protect St. Brendan's Abbey, as Hush House was then known. Later, the Barons de Wolf strengthened this gate against their many enemies, but it's a long time now since Hush House was any kind of fortress. And by the time the scholars of the Curia took possession, this place had long been a comfortable waiting room for visitors to the house, too minor to merit immediate attention. And it is about 7 minutes now past my end time, so I think I am actually going to end it here. The next plans, which will be happening on Wednesday's episode, will be to try and read the Cucurbit Prisoner records. We'll get at least one level of Sights and Sensations. I don't think I can realistically expect 2, but we'll give it a shot. And then we'll sort of take stock after that. But I wanted to try and wrap up the day, but I'm also kind of conscious of runtime. So thank you for dealing with me as I figured stuff out. I am very much looking forward to the rest of the week's episodes because we clearly have a lot to do. But all of that will be happening Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Until then, take care.